From recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex with your host Steve Urban comes the Riderflex Nation podcast, a show featuring entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. If you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes. And on today's episode of the Riderflex podcast, we have Connor Dube, the partner and director of sales and marketing at Active Blogs, and he's also the founder of Mile High Mentors. Connor, how you doing?
Doing awesome, man. Thanks so much for having me. Good to see you.
Absolutely. You do such a great job on your social media. You're all over the place, man. And I love some of your videos. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been following what you're doing as well, and you're doing a phenomenal job of building your business. Also, it's great to see others succeeding. It's always inspiring for me to see other people just doing great with their companies. I
appreciate it. I wish I was as young and good looking and flashy as you, though. You probably get a few more viewers than me. Nobody wants to see a 50-year-old guy.
I don't know, man. You're pretty good looking dude for a 50-year-old.
Thank you.
like that's the refinement age. See the
Right.
The women, like, people like the refined look, right? Like, think of George Clooney with a little salt and pepper compared to George Clooney like as a young dude.
Exactly. Well, let's start with your personal story. Just tell everybody about yourself, where you're from, maybe some family stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm native of Colorado, born and raised here. Traveled all over the world, but Denver is just like, it's home. Like, I'm looking at the Platte River out here right now. It's just, and got a little snowfall. It's beautiful.
Awesome.
It's
Awesome.
it's unlike anywhere else in the world. So born and raised here, raised of two, my dad, who we'll do a second show with Mark as well, bring him in at some point. But he was franchising Remax offices in the early days, and met my mom, who was an agent of Remax.
I see.
And so I was born of the real estate world, which is probably what's helped with my personality a bit, maybe.
Okay.
Being a kid of two real estate agents, and
both of them were into selling or sales, and so they both had probably got great people skills, I'm guessing, which is where you got it.
Yeah. I mean, Remax's model early in the days was franchising, and Mark was like one of the first people out there doing that, going state to state, franchising out the offices. And so he's a mentor of mine, and same with my mom's been in sales there, and she's actually up in Fort Collins still. Same with Mark. But I've always been kind of entrepreneurial and like very passionate about sales marketing. I've founded a number of companies. I started my first business at the age of 7.
Wow.
Which
Okay.
I actually stole rocks from my neighbor's yard and I collected rocks from my neighbor's yard and my parents' yard. When 9/11 hit and the Twin Towers went down, I wanted to find a way to give back.
Okay.
And so I painted rocks with patriotic symbols and flags and stuff, and I sold them at a motorcycle rally to raise funds. So I think I raised like $120 at the age of 7. I donated it all away, and that was my first dive into entrepreneurship. And
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. And you're like, oh, this is how it works. Okay, if you provide value and you present some type of product that people want, they'll give you cash for it.
Right. I love we live in such a world now where we can build businesses around being conscious and giving back, but also not like be broke ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like we can empower ourselves, but also empower more people that way. And I've kind of always been involved with nonprofits, donate a lot of my time throughout high school. Was really involved with the business classes, started a lawn mowing company when, in high school. I literally strapped I drove this like 92 4Runner, and I couldn't fit my lawnmower inside. So I literally strapped it to the top of my rooftop with bungee cords and like drove it through the neighborhood to mow lawns and make money. And I started washing dishes at the age of 14. So I was never very satisfied being stagnant and not doing stuff. Not working.
But that entrepreneurial bug was there way early. So you knew early on hey, I'm going to own my own business. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to be a partner, or, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I kind of always like I didn't really know what entrepreneur meant, but I started studying successful people when I was
Mm-hmm.
like 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And reading, my mom always encouraged me to read a lot. Started reading a lot of books, studying others who were, and I was always like, I want to be rich, like at a young age, and like I want to be successful, and like I want to help a lot of people, and entrepreneurship is a vehicle for that.
Right.
Now I wasn't always like, when I was in college, I actually did door-to-door sales for over 2.5 years while working my way through college
How
and
about that?
earning my degree.
Okay.
And that was working for somebody else. I was working for this big corporate company. I went on to manage one of their departments where I was managing 25 sales and marketers. I've trained hundreds of people within that company to sell door to door also, and helped take one of those departments to 11, from $4 to $11 million in a year and a half. And even still, I'm like, I can't work for people. Like, I drive people crazy. Like, trying to work for somebody else is not my deal. But I like taking vehicles and helping to like grow vehicles. So when I graduated college with my marketing degree, I was either going to go straight into entrepreneurship and do my own thing, or it was organic for me to partner up with Mark, my dad, and build out this company. And that's what we're, doing now.
So your dad had this company established, Active Blogs, or was it called something else when you were in school?
It was called Proven Systems back in the day. They're very early innovators in content marketing. So they did a lot of newsletters and blogs and, kind of traditional content when, you used to like mail your company's newsletter out, like literally in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
He started taking that digital back in the early days and did a lot of that. And then we rebranded as Active Blogs a few years ago.
When you joined?
This was maybe right when I was starting to join. He had already made the decision to rebrand because of where the industry was going and being disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
So we rebranded that way.
Now, let me ask you this: when you were in school and you were working for somebody else, was he saying, "Hey, come over here and join me"? I mean, so because at first you didn't join Dad, right? Were there early conversations? Was he saying, "Come on over here," and you're like, "I want to do my own thing for a little bit"? Let's talk about that.
Actually, no. He's a great anti-seller. So he was not trying to get me to come join his business. He was trying to groom me for a career in or entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I was the one who went banging on his door, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm already passionate about this. I love sales. I love marketing. Let me come in and work with you." He wasn't even trying to get he never kind of like was trying to get us kids. I've several other siblings.
Okay.
And he was never trying to like get us to take over the family business.
Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of interesting in that sense.
And you pinged him and said, "All right, Dad, I want to join your team." And did you know that you wanted to handle sales and marketing? I mean, you knew that's what you were good at. And you were like, "Hey, I'll take over sales."
Yeah, when I first came into the company, my experience was like appointment generating for this other company I was working with. So I'm like, "Hey, let me come in and like, first I'll just kind of act as like an SDR role, right? Setting appointments for you."
Yep.
And then that just kind of evolved into sales, into marketing. So I'm kind of a hybrid creature between both. Like I'm very deeply passionate about sales, but I also love and really deeply understand marketing, which is something that we've kind of built into our own services, as well as how we kind of structure ourselves in our own activities.
How long have you been working with your dad now? How many years?
You mean back when he made me mow his lawn? Does that count too?
No. I'm sorry. At Active Blogs, so at Active Blogs, you guys have been together for what? 2-3 years?
It's been over 6 years now.
Oh, 6 years. Okay.
6 years.
And what's that like on Thanksgiving, right? When you're trying to visit, you're trying to have family time, but you're really talking business. And then, have there been a few times too where you guys disagree on some topics? And Yeah. Talk to us about what it's like to work for
Every day,
Dad.
man. Every day. No, that's a really great question. Like, everyone told me when I told them I was going to go into business with my dad, they're like, don't go into business with family. Like, that's a bad idea. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, we'll have to see. And quite frankly, we weren't even as close then as we are now. Like,
Okay.
Mark is my best friend. Like, he's my homie. He's the dude I always call. My dad is my best friend now.
That's great.
And I think working together has brought us so much more closer together. It was the best decision I ever made. So
That's
yes,
fantastic.
we talk business too much at the dinner table. And like everyone else in the family is like, can you guys shut up about business already? But
Yeah.
we're passionate about it, right? Like our sport, people talk about football. Our sport is business, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
our sport. We're passionate about it in the same way people are fanatical about any other sport.
Mm.
So we're always talking about it. And yes, we spat too, but that's the thing. That's a weird thing about working with family. And you'll experience this too. When you and your son start working together
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, you can go at each other and really butt heads, and we do oftentimes like really deeply disagree,
Mm-hmm.
but we get over it really quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's our personalities or the fact that we can't hold, like, we got to keep moving
Yeah.
forward. We
You
got
got to
to
keep. Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
can't be
Exactly.
stagnated and like being angry with each other. So
Mm-hmm.
we've
Mm-hmm. How
never
many?
really even gone a day. Like, I don't think, can't think of a time we've fought and never gone more than 24 hours without resolving the situation.
That's awesome. How many employees now at the company?
We have 25.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
All
About
right.
20. Yep.
And are you second in command, like a partner? Is it's your dad and then you, or is there like a COO or, talk to us about the org structure. I'm just curious.
Yeah, we're one of those weird innovative companies that everyone's kind of like peer to peer, and we all keep each other very accountable
Okay.
with one another. So yeah, Mark's the president. I'm the director of sales and marketing. We have a client success director who kind of also acts as our operating, director, chief operating officer as well.
Okay.
And yeah, we all have a really important role to play. People come to me when they have questions and resources, because a lot of what we sell now, predominantly what we sell now, I created when I
see.
came into the business. So I'm kind of the in-house subject matter expert on that stuff.
Okay.
Same with Mark. And he's, he really loves the high level, the operations and stuff. And I really love the, outward facing side of the business, doing these podcasts, speaking, creating content, doing sales calls, all that good stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a nice segue. So tell us
Yeah.
then. So for the people that don't know Active Blogs, give us the overview. Tell us what they do, why you're awesome at it.
Well, we've kind of, we're technically a marketing agency, but there's a lot of marketing agencies out there. So we've done a really good job at kind of niching ourselves down into these industries, really complex B2B industries, very technical industries where they're very smart people, but they kind of, they struggle very much to market themselves.
Yep.
And their messaging is off. So what we've done predominantly over the years is custom content creation. We're focused on two things, which is custom content creation and strategy, and then LinkedIn social selling strategy and sales growth. Those are the two key things that we do. Okay. So we kind of married Mark's traditional arm of the business of content, really high quality custom content, with the reach in the business development efforts of LinkedIn social selling strategy that I'm, very familiar with. And we're we provide the most unique services on the market for those particular industries.
So if you're B2B, right? You're B2B and you're a $50 million company. What's your target? 100 million, 50 million? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, we've worked with Fortune 500s, like the CenturyLinks, to small 10-person companies. Quite frankly, Steve, like I really love working with the SMB market, company that's doing a couple million to maybe, $60, $75 million. Because when we help them and they're adding tens of millions or a few millions into their pipeline, that's a huge impact compared to like, a big, huge Fortune 500 company. And that's really exciting for me and for the team.
It's interesting. I just had an email yesterday from one of our advisory board members here at Riderflex, and he has a company, and he's doing $30 million a year. He's been in business for 15 years.
Yeah.
He emails me yesterday and says, "Hey, how do you do that paid stuff on LinkedIn? I want to put out a post and I want to like promote it." I mean, he didn't know. And I was thinking to myself, well, this is Connor's customer right here. This is exactly what Connor does. They help people like that, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah. Here's the thing is like, we work with a lot of senior CEOs and senior level executives. Their business has been around 20, 30, 100 years, right? Mm-hmm. And traditional means of business development, networking, using referrals, going to trade shows, cold calling, conferences, all those things are still good and they still work. But we're so distracted nowadays that not only do we have to reach enough of the right people, and there's more people in the sales cycle now than ever before, but we also have to consistently stay in front of them more than ever before. So a typical sales touch point of 5, 6, 7, 8, touches with somebody is now 15, 16, 20, plus. Mm-hmm. And so, LinkedIn is really there as a powerful tool, not to like be the end all be all of your sales and marketing strategies. It's there to help you create what's called omnipresence, which is something that I learned while I was, working in this company that I saw go from 13 million to $72 million in 3 years when I left. So the thing about LinkedIn is paid ads is not the ticket, right? Okay. I can pump all the money in the world into paid ads on LinkedIn. It's good and there's a time and place for it. But if I'm starting anywhere, organically through my personal brand and my personal brand development, I can reach 10, 20, 100x more people in a more targeted way than I ever could with paid ads. And that's the power. That's the beauty of LinkedIn compared to any other social channel or even B2B strategy. Is if I sell to a $50 million company, I'm selling to the CEO, CTO, CIO, C-suite, engineering manager. Like there's 6 or 7 people in there. If I'm just running paid ads, I'm betting against other people running paid ads, number one. Number two, I'm also not even clear on who I'm getting in front of, who I'm reaching half the time.
Right. I get these emails. Well, we'll call them, I guess on LinkedIn, they're called in-mails, right? I get the messages on LinkedIn. So as the founder and CEO of Riderflex,
yeah,
I promise you,
you
Connor,
get hit up a lot.
I get probably, 10 a day, right? And it's a generic sales email. They're pitching something to me, and I never read them. The other thing I get is I'll get people that says they'll send me a connection request, and it'll be like, "Oh, hey, you're so cool. I want to connect with you," and I'll connect with them, and then 2 minutes later, boom, I get the sales message. And that is just annoying as hell. Can you talk about some of that a little bit? Maybe give some advice.
Well, yeah, it's automation, right? It's predominantly, if you're experiencing that, it's because people are using some sort of LinkedIn software that's going out, connecting with people, sending a follow-up message. That's why the timing is like, whoa, I just connected with you. How did I get this like message out of the blue?
I see.
So think of it this way, and this is where I'm really like, I know we live in the automation era, and I want to save time just as much as anybody else. But if you're trying to add 6 and 7 figures into your company, human engagement is the ticket to that. Like, I can't send a robot yet to a networking event or a trade show to go talk to my prospects and go talk to my buyers. It's me. I'm engaging with them human to human. If I go meet somebody in person, I don't pitch them right when I see them. Like, exactly. I don't understand. And by the way, I only know because I've made these mistakes early on. I created my first LinkedIn profile when I was 15 and started screwing around with the platform. When I was 15 years old, I started screwing around with LinkedIn. It's like in the era of social selling, which is where all of this is going, why do I need to interact with people differently on social than I would in person, than I would, if I were to meet you at a networking event, why would I interact with you any differently? So the way I help my clients look at LinkedIn is it is the world's largest trade show, industry trade show, or networking or conference. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, I engage, I have all the other right pieces in place. There's even more benefits to it than going and networking in person. But the way we communicate with our buyers is a much more humanized approach to LinkedIn. Instead of spamming out, these long paragraphs, why not send a video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not send a voice message? That's how you and I got, talking to each
Mm-hmm.
other. Is I sent you a voice message.
That's right.
And you could hear my voice. You could hear, the tone.
Matter of fact, I just want to touch on that for a minute. I get pinged, like I said, all day, every day. Yeah. You sent me that little voice note that came up on LinkedIn. I had never gotten one of those. And when I got it, I thought, oh, this is interesting. Let me click on this. I normally I would never even, and I clicked on it and I heard your message, which was authentic and real. It wasn't just, a bunch of BS. But then I called my partner. Scott, and I said, hey man, check this out. I said, I never got this before. This is pretty good. Yeah. So just my compliments, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It was a nice personal touch that you had there.
The reason cold calling works is because I can get that person on the phone. They can hear my voice. The beauty of LinkedIn is when I send that, you can see me, my content, my company, my authority, podcasts I've been featured on, all that good stuff. And it makes for a much more it makes for a way to take digital interaction much more humanized.
Mm-hmm.
So my team, now I have a sales guy also. We have another one that's in training right now. And, what we help them do is like even take the CEO, the marketing director, the sales director, we put them into a single group message on LinkedIn. We label the group message and then we send them a customized video. Hey, Riderflex team, Connor Dube here. Hope you're doing really well. Greetings from Denver. Here's the Platte River. Like we send custom human stuff to them and it kills it. It crushes it.
Love it.
Crushes it. Yeah.
There are so many businesses, especially small to medium sized, that they don't even have a company LinkedIn page. A lot of them don't. I mean, you'll look up, John Brown, CEO of, something printing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Johnstown, Colorado. And then you look at his profile and he doesn't even have a company page. I don't think people understand the power of B2B in LinkedIn for sure. So,
yeah.
So you're helping these companies. They can contact Active Blogs, and you guys will. How does that work? Are they paying you like a project fee? Or are they paying you like a monthly retainer, and you just handle it all? Talk to us about the setup.
Yeah, just to kind of paint the picture that, make no mistake, our name is Active Blogs, but we still do a lot of that for our clients, but we're also very focused on LinkedIn. So we found when we were doing blogs and content for our clients, we had to do a lot of extra legwork to get their prospects to their website and to their blogs and to their emails and stuff.
I see.
So when we marry it with LinkedIn, people are already there. They're already on the platform. So Active Blogs, yeah, the way we operate is most companies outsource this stuff to have us support them with it, or we train, coach, and consult them on it.
I see.
So we have a number of different ways. We have clients that have been with us for 10, 12 years straight. Wow. Doing content with us. Wow. Some of them come in, they get what they need, and then we, part ways. And so we really, really, really customize everything we do based on every client's unique situation and setup.
Can you handle all of their digital marketing? I mean, if I just said, hey, look, please take over my social and digital, just take it all. You guys can do that.
Yeah, we've done, if there's something we don't do or can't do, we have all partners from being around for so many years to support
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some other routine mistakes you see people make? Because I'm just guessing you're scanning social, you're on it all the time, and you see
Hmm.
companies. What are some just routine mistakes you see people or companies make? Social media.
Well, first I would say their perception is off. Perception mentality, the way they see it is probably wrong, because what most companies do is they see it as a one directional channel.
Mm.
So I have social media, I share a bunch of posts to social media, and then out pops sales on the other end. That's what most people kind of perceive as how social media works. Um, the other misperception is kind
Uh,
of, even though the genre is kind of like social selling, it doesn't mean going to social and like selling people and spamming people. Automation is another way. People try to save time, and then they're so disconnected from the process. They're burning, literally burning valuable relationships just trying to automate stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the other thing is they're not using their own voice and their own expertise. So if you look at my news feed and my own LinkedIn profile, 90+% is coming from me, my perception of things, my perspective of things, my thought leadership. You see a lot of companies try to basically fill social noise by adding to the noise, and they take a bunch of random industry blogs, news articles, other people's content, they share it out. And what's funny is, I was even talking to how much time we got? A few minutes.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you're okay. Yeah, you're good.
okay. I was talking to a prospect we were consulting with the other day, and we went and audited all of their social media posts,
Okay.
and a majority of them actually led to competitors' funnels when you go and break it down. So again, that's the power of custom content coming from you versus doing what everybody else is doing for the
I
most
am
part.
so glad. I'm so glad you brought that up. We've even had internal debates about this topic in Riderflex. Some of my team members will say, "Oh, we need to share articles. We need to forward articles and stuff." And I'm always like, I don't want to do that. Every time I see people share an article, or they'll put out something and say, "Oh, I read this cool article. Here you go, guys." What I think when I see that is, I think, okay, you don't have anything else. There's nothing else of value you can provide yourself other than sharing other content.
Yeah, exactly.
I never have understood that. I'm
It
so glad
should.
you brought that up.
Yeah, well, like people want to know why buy from you. And this is also another major mistake of most companies. And I speak to a number of CEOs every week who come to me and they're frustrated. They're like, this marketing thing sucks. Like, I don't even know if I want to talk about this. I'm like, dude, I get it. Because reason being, people get too hung up on these vanity metrics. Like, how
Mm,
many likes did I get on my post? How many views did I get? How many comments? That shit doesn't matter if it's not driving sales conversations. Okay. If it's not driving impact,
right.
it is vanity, it's vapid. And this is where a lot of people are frustrated with social media, because it's not actually leading to sales.
Right.
And if it's not leading to sales, you're not committed to it. You're not committed to it. You're not going to stay consistent with it. You're not consistent with it. It's not going to lead to sales. So it's more of like a like you got to have kind of the flywheel going, rather than just kind of seeing it omnidirect or one directional. And then also like getting hung up on vanity metrics is where a lot of people go wrong with this stuff.
That's a great point. Glad you brought that up as well.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. On the Riderflex podcast, switching gears just a tad, we give out a lot of career advice,
Yeah.
a lot of job interviewing tips on the Riderflex podcast. Now that you're a partner in the company, you obviously hire and fire and interview people, and you've had to learn at a very young age how to be a manager and how to be
Mhm.
an executive. I'd like to ask your opinion on a couple of things. When you're interviewing people now that want to work for the company, what are you looking for? What character traits or personality traits or characteristics are you looking for when you talk to somebody?
The number one character trait is not what college they went to. I mean, it depends on the role, on the role, but it's not the college they went to. It's not the how great their grades were. It is their optimism. And if you audit our team internally, they're a intensely optimistic group of people. And gratitude, like all those things matter, and they relay over to our clients' experience as well. So that's probably the key thing we're looking for, is like optimistic people who are excited, enthusiastic, like that goes that goes wonders in all areas of life. And I think it's one of the most underutilized skill sets, is just being optimistic, right?
Positive energy, right? Yep.
Positive energy.
It goes a long way. Just like you said, if you got good work, if you got good people skills, good work ethic, and you're positive, I mean, if you just have those three, you're going to provide value, right? I don't care what your IQ level is.
Yeah. Yeah. Now again, that's easy for someone to say, is like, just be optimistic. But I think a lot of people aren't in those scenarios because they're not actually they're applying for a job. They're not applying for a lifestyle that they want. They're not applying for what they're actually passionate about. And that's where, a lot of millennials are in and out of the job market, is they're trying to pay off bills and they're just getting a job to get a job, rather than like taking risks and going after what maybe they're working for free for somebody for a few months. And that leads to a 6-figure, salary the next year. It's like, pursuing, I think pursuing after the things you're passionate about is really important. And most people aren't applying in those areas also.
By the way, you can see your passion when you look at any of your posts or you check out the videos that you do. I mean, it's obvious that you love what you're doing. You're having a great time. You're super passionate about it. So I think that's key. You're right. A lot of people driving around out there going to jobs that they hate because they think they have to. I don't know why people do that. I really don't.
And I've done that before. Like I didn't enjoy doing the door-to-door sales grind. That was a little different. I was in college. Like that's a little different in college, job than like finding your career. But here's the thing. And this is kind of even like behind the premise of our podcast also, is like, we live in the best era ever. And we have access to unlimited amounts of people and resources. So if you want a job at any company in the world, the same principles that apply to getting a job, a career, a lifestyle, the same principles that apply to prospecting, like for sales, those same principles apply for looking for a career and getting opportunity.
You're right.
Like you can use the same thing, and you can literally, I truly believe I could go get hired anywhere if I applied for it. Like I know that I can go get hired anywhere because persistence and not taking the traditional route of, submit my resume and then wait around for them to get back. Like I would hunt that shit if I really, really wanted it. And I think people need to get more passionate about what they're doing and pursuing. That'll help them be more persistent.
Yep. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to talk to Connor or hire Active Blogs, what's the best way to go about that?
I would say probably you just ping me on LinkedIn, Connor Dube, DUBE, CONNOR, Instagram, Facebook. I'm everywhere. I don't use Twitter that much, believe it or not. Like I rarely use Twitter.
It's tough to use all of them. It's just hard to keep up with all of them. It really is.
Yeah.
By the way, your last name, that must have been so much fun in high school to have the last name Dube. I mean,
I know, being in Colorado, like I had to learn how to like roll the best doobies out of obligation. Like even if I wasn't partaking, like, hey, your last name's Dube, you can do this, right? So, yeah, of course, I got you.
Such a great name. I mean, if you're at a social gathering, I mean, right there, that's an instant conversation starter, right? I mean,
exactly.
It's great for a sales guy too. Like, hey, my name's Connor Dube. The person you're talking to is like, really? That's your name? I mean,
and there's all people like we have clients all over the world, and people in like the UK and Australia, and everyone knows about Colorado, and they're like, your name's Dube and you live in Colorado. I know.
So
I guarantee you, Steve, Mark and I will start a company at we have to, like, some brand or something in the hemp industry or the cannabis industry at some point in time. So
it's so good. When you first pinged me, I thought to myself, nah, that's not his name. Come on. That's like a stage name or something.
A stage name. Yeah, I made it up.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being on the Riderflex podcast. Congratulations on everything you guys are building. I really admire your energy and your positive spirit and what you're doing. I mean, I liked what you said earlier. Hey, we're all in it to make money, right? We want to make money and pay the bills, but if you can also just help people and if you feel good about helping people and you can make money, that's the home run, isn't it?
Yeah, they go one and the same. I think something I've learned from mentors of mine over the years is, like, if I'm a good person and I have a good heart, can I do more good with a $50 million a year business than with a $500,000 a year business?
Right. Exactly.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Well, Connor, thank you so much for being on the Riderflex podcast. I appreciate it. Let's get together soon for happy hour, dinner or something. Okay.
Yeah. Doobies. Yeah. You ever hang out with two doobies at one time?
Love it. Love it. Yeah. I want to meet your dad, Mark. So
absolutely, man. We'll get you and your son together and we'll do it here soon.
That sounds good.
Really appreciate it, man. This is a blast.
Thanks a lot, Connor. Talk soon.
Cool. See you, brother.
The Riderflex Nation podcast can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on our podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.